Alright, hello and welcome to Nick Reviews Things from the 90s. I'm Nick and this is from the 90s. Now, Surge is a Coca-Cola Company soft drink. It was released in 1996 to combat Pepsi's Extreme Mountain Dew. They took the not entirely successful formulation behind Mellow Yellow and they made Surge, which is a mildly more caffeinated, citrus-flavored beverage. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but Mountain Dew was pretty extreme in the 90s. So the Coca-Cola Company was like, well, let's make a more hardcore beverage and test it out in Norway, because if anyone knows anything about being extreme, it's Norwegians, right? So that's what they did. They released it in Norway and they called it Urge. Apparently, they didn't have the rights to just call it Surge because there was a trademark dispute with the company whose cow milking machine was registered under that name. So they called it Urge when they first released it in Norway. Wildly successful, it was later released in the US as Surge, although it also had the nickname MDK. Mountain Dew Killer! With catchy phrases like, feed the rush, and life's a scream! It was bound to crush the competition. Alas, Surge couldn't conquer Mountain Dew, and it was removed from production in 2003. Coke kept on trying, though. They made a drink called Volt in 2005 that was basically the same thing as Surge, except contained a lot more caffeine. Volt was discontinued in 2011. A few years later, in 2014, Coke spent a few pennies to get involved with Monster, which is probably why you won't see Volt making a reappearance anytime soon. It's basically Surge with more caffeine. Still not as much as coffee. So, I was born in the 80s. There's a special place in my heart for all things 90s, because that's what I grew up with. Now, even though I never personally liked Surge or Mountain Dew for that matter, there's still this warm, fuzzy memory attached to the name Surge. I remember it being like an energy drink for kids. A 16-ounce can of Surge has less caffeine than an 8-ounce cup of coffee. With the advent of Facebook, people were able to gather together, show their love and support for this beverage, and Coca-Cola took note. In 2015, Surge was re-released into the market, which is how I have my hands on this lovely can of Surge right now. So now that you have a little history on the product itself, I'm actually going to do a taste test. I haven't had Surge in ages, so you're seeing me drink a can of Surge for the first time in probably over 15 years. I don't think there was a formulation change, so we're just gonna crack into this thing and see how it goes. Now, I mentioned before I didn't really like Surge to begin with, so if you love Surge and don't appreciate my review, well, I warned you. I didn't like it to begin with. Alright, I don't even know what it smells like. It smells like, not like lime exactly. I'm gonna pour it into a canning jar because canning jars are cheaper than glasses, so why not? And then you get to see what color it is too. So let's do it. I'm afraid. Oh, that is pretty. Alright, so that's what Surge looks like out of the can. It does. It smells like a lime. You know what? It smells like Mellow Yellow. That's what it smells like. It smells like Mellow Yellow. Alright, here we go. Most of what I can taste right there is just like mildly citric flavored sugar and carbonation. So it's like if you took a cup of sugar and you added a few drops of lime and then you carbonated it in liquid form. It's pretty much what this be. Let's see how much sugar it has in it actually. 56 grams of sugar per 16-ounce can. 56 grams of sugar in this thing. Yeah, I mean, the sugar and the carbonation kind of like cancels out any flavors you might actually be tasting. But I feel like it's not supposed to be this color. I feel like it's supposed to be more like Sprite or Mellow Yellow. Like a yellowish or a clear color. But this green is off-putting. This is like, oh man. I know everything about Surge now. Everything I've told you is a lie, and everything that you see in Futurama about Slurm is exactly right. So I'm gonna drink this whole thing, and I'll come back in about 15 minutes and tell you how I feel about it. Tell you how I'm feeling after drinking so much sugar in one quick go, tell you if I've figured out what flavor it is, or if I want to continue trying to figure out what flavor it is. I'll be back, and then we'll go for our final results and our last impressions. Okay, after 15 minutes, I feel really strange. I haven't had this much sugar in a drink in a long time. There's a ton of sugar in here. I feel weird. There's not very much caffeine in here. I usually consume more caffeine through a cup of coffee than I would through drinking a 16-ounce Surge. The logo is super extreme. Surge. Just makes, oh, Surge Extreme! Feed the rush! Oh, can you feel it? It's very 90s. The flavor is almost non-existent because it's pretty much solid sugar and carbonation in liquid form. Overall, Surge doesn't really stand out in any way, shape, or form, except through nostalgia. People drink Surge because they did in the 90s. I feel like there are better options out there for whatever you're trying to get out of your soda drinks or your energy drinks or whatever. I'm pretty sure the only reason that Surge is actually a thing, and that the only people who actually drink Surge are people of my age range who grew up drinking this in the 90s. So, if you feel nostalgic about Surge and you want to give it a try, I'm sure you can find it somewhere because it's making a big comeback. Who would have thought? Nostalgia driving the market. I wonder what else will come back soon. We'll see. Alright, this has been Nick reviewing Surge from the 90s, 1996. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if this is something you want to see more of. If there's something in particular from the 90s you want me to review, let me know. Put it in a comment. Make sure to thumbs up the video. And overall, I hope this has been amazing.